Welcome to another episode of QueerStory, where we explore important queer historical figures who have contributed amazing things to society. In the smoky haze of early 20th century juke joints and vaudeville stages, one voice reigned supreme, the powerful, soulful growl of Ma Rainey. Dubbed the Mother of the Blues, she was more than just a singer. She was a revolutionary force, shaping the genre and living openly as a queer black woman in a time when the world sought to silence both. Her music, her presence, and her audacity to live authentically left a legacy that still resonates today. A voice born from the South, born Gertrude Ma. Bridget Rainey on April 26, 1886, in Columbus, Georgia. She grew up in a time when black artists were relegated to the fringes of the entertainment industry. Like many of her generation, Ma Rainey was introduced to music through church spirituals and the vibrant folk traditions of the South. But it wasn't long before she found her true calling, the blues. She began performing professionally in her teens, traveling with the Rabbit's Foot Minstrels, a popular black vaudeville troupe. These traveling minstrel shows were one of the only avenues for black entertainers to make a living at the time. But while minstrelsy was often steeped in harmful racial caricatures, black performers like Rainey reclaimed the stage for their own artistic expression. Ma Rainey's blues were deeply Southern, raw, and unfiltered, telling the stories of black life in a way that few mainstream artists of the time could. She had a rich, gravelly voice that could shake the rafters of any juke joint, and a stage presence that commanded attention. She became one of the first women to take the rough, emotional folk blues of the Deep South and bring it to a broader audience. Blues, bisexuality, and boldness. Ma Rainey wasn't just groundbreaking in her music. She was also unapologetically queer. At a time when being openly LGBTQ+ was dangerous, she embraced her sexuality with bold defiance. She often surrounded herself with women, and stories of her relationships with female lovers were well known within the blues community. In 1925, she was arrested in her home after police raided a party where she and a group of women were allegedly engaged in intimate acts. While the scandal could have destroyed another artist's career, Ma Rainey was unfazed. She posted bail, resumed her career, and continued living life on her own terms. One of her most famous songs, Prove It On Me Blues, is a bold, thinly veiled declaration of her attraction to women. Went out last night with a crowd of my friends. They must have been women, 'cause I don't like no men. It's true I wear a collar and a tie. Makes the wind blow all the while. For a black woman in the 1920s to publicly express same-sex desire, especially in recorded music, was virtually unheard of. But Ma Rainey didn't just hint at queerness. She put it in her music, in her lifestyle, and in her image. In the 1920s, Ma Rainey signed with Paramount Records and recorded over 100 songs, making her one of the most prolific female blues artists of her time. She wrote and performed songs about heartbreak, passion, and desire, often with an intensity that made them unforgettable. Her deep, emotive singing and risque lyrics helped define the blues, making it a space for raw storytelling about love, loss, sex, and survival. She also had an immense influence on other artists, most notably Bessie Smith, who was rumored to be one of her lovers. Smith, later crowned the Empress of the Blues, was deeply inspired by Rainey's performance style and storytelling. But as the blues evolved and record labels shifted toward jazz and swing, Ma Rainey's career began to fade. By the 1930s, she retired from the music industry and returned to her home in Columbus, Georgia. Though she no longer performed, she remained a respected figure in her community, owning and operating 2 theaters until her death in 1939. Though she never achieved mainstream recognition in her lifetime, her legacy endures. Artists such as Janis Joplin, Big Mama Thornton, and Meshel Ndegeocello cite her as an influence. More importantly, her work laid the foundation for the blues, which would go on to inspire jazz, rock, R&B, and even hip-hop. While Ma Rainey's contributions to music have long been known to blues historians, it was Viola Davis's powerhouse performance in Netflix's 2020 film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, that brought her story to mainstream audiences. Based on the play by August Wilson, the film takes place over the course of a single day in a Chicago recording studio in 1927. Davis's portrayal of Rainey is nothing short of commanding. She is fierce, unmovable, and deeply aware of the power she holds as a black woman in an industry that seeks to exploit her. The film highlights how Rainey refused to be controlled, demanding respect from white executives and fighting to maintain her artistic integrity. What makes Davis's performance particularly remarkable is how she captures not just Rainey's strength, but also her queerness. The film doesn't shy away from her relationships with women, depicting her romance with her young lover, Dussie May. This representation is crucial, as black queer figures from history are often erased or sanitized in mainstream media. Davis, already an Oscar-winning actress, transformed into Rainey, gaining weight, wearing gold teeth, and adopting Rainey's slow, deliberate Southern drawl. Her portrayal earned her critical acclaim, with many calling it one of the best performances of her career. The film also starred Chadwick Boseman in his final role as Levy, a young and ambitious musician seeking to carve his own path in the industry. His tragic performance, paired with Davis's powerful presence, made Ma Rainey's Black Bottom a cinematic triumph that honored Rainey's legacy in a way she never received during her lifetime. Today, Ma Rainey is remembered not just as a blues legend, but as a trailblazer for queer black artists. Her willingness to live out loud in an era of deep racial and gender oppression makes her a revolutionary figure. Her music speaks to themes of freedom, desire, and defiance, making her a symbol of queer resilience. In a time when LGBTQ+ figures were forced into the shadows, Rainey stood in the spotlight, adorned in her extravagant gowns and gold teeth, belting the blues on her own terms. Her story serves as a powerful reminder that black queer voices have always been an integral part of American culture, shaping its music, its stories, and its history. As we listen to her recordings, as we watch Viola Davis bring her to life on screen, and as new generations of black LGBTQ+ artists step into the spotlight, we continue to hear Ma Rainey's voice echo through time. She was bold, she was queer, she was the mother of the blues, and that is why Ma Rainey will always be a queer story.
I'ma do what I want, when I want, how I want. I'm like, that's a bad